This is Total Disruption Boardroom Battleground, where bold entrepreneurs step up and they put their businesses to the test.
Over the next 12 weeks, we'll push our contestants beyond their limits in branding, marketing, leadership, strategy, scalability, and profitability.
Every decision they make, every single breakthrough, every single struggle, captured, analyzed, and then broadcast across all the platforms.
Every move counts. Every misstep, a crucial lesson. Every victory, a moment to shine.
That's where our expert team of elite coaches come in. Really push our competitors harder, demand more, break those bad habits, and put those strategies in place.
Behind the scenes, our world-class production team will showcase their business like never before. The kind of exposure most entrepreneurs chase for years, served up right here in real time.
In the end, a single superstar is going to rise above the rest.
The rest will walk away with battle-tested strategies, a stronger business, and lessons of a lifetime, scars and all.
Not to mention a whole arsenal of promotional videos and materials in their back pocket.
Get ready, because this is as real as it gets, folks. This is Total Disruption.
Boardroom Battleground. Welcome to Total Disruption, Boardroom Battleground. I'm Mike Laversi, your guide to peak business performance and tough decisions. My mission, keep our contestants sharp, resilient, and thriving under pressure. Because in the business world, excuses don't cut it.
And I'm Dr. Jake Clendang. I'm an entrepreneur, a strategic advisor, and a mindset expert. My goal is really to show contestants how to think bigger, move quicker, turn strategy into real winning results.
Last week, we introduced you to the incredible coaches, guiding entrepreneurs, Anthony Perez, Jen Loving, Chad Mitchell, Melissa Hughes, and of course, Jake and I.
We got a pretty in-depth dose of their incredible skill sets too.
This week, we're turning the spotlight on the inspiring personal journeys of our contestants.
Every entrepreneur seeks visibility, and that's what this show today is really about. It's about those sleepless nights, their relentless hustle, and their journeys are going to be recognized here and now because they really deserve to see their dedication pay off.
Exposure begets increased sales, expanded customer bases, rapid growth, and successful scaling. That's why we built this competition.
Their story, their hustle, their vision.
And it doesn't end with this show. Contestants walk away with high-quality video content, compelling promo reels, and expert coaching clips.
Our elite panel of judges, they're going to assess the contestants on execution, measurable progress, strategic thinking, and leadership growth over the next 12 weeks.
12 weeks, no shortcut, no safety nets, just relentless high-stakes business tests every single day, and we are only 1 week in.
All right, let the games begin. I am super stoked to introduce Samantha Allen. Let's take a minute and meet her.
So I've known from a very, very young age that I love music and I want to be a musician and I want to be able to make a living from music. I actually had an experience where my kindergarten teacher got very mad at me one day for taking charge of the classroom. And she pulled my parents aside and she said, "Your daughter may be the CEO of her own company one day, but she is not the CEO of this classroom." And it was probably from that day on that I knew I wanted to be a boss.
And if you see me crying, it's just how I feel. I could use a couple good
Down, hold still.
Thank you.
Okay, ready? Basses. Tenors. Sopranos.
So I opened this company last year. I got my start from my studio called Vibes Fine and Performing Arts in Casper, Wyoming. I loved my experience there so much that I wanted to bring that experience to other musicians here. Except for this time, I wanted to be the person in charge, being able to provide those opportunities. So the process itself wasn't too bad. I actually got some help from Weber State's business program. They helped me learn how to apply for an LLC, and they walked me through the steps of opening a small business here in Utah. I was able to find a place to rent. Knew I was going to be spending my own money, and with my own money, I wanted to make sure it was done right first. So in order to do that, I saved up quite a bit before I opened the business. I haven't taken out any business loans. I haven't gotten any scholarships, any grants, any public funding of any kind. We are currently breaking even, which is really successful for a small startup company. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to get more help, more insight, to help our company make more money, have more of a national outlook, so we can have more students here, give my teachers more opportunities to be making more money, and less money coming out of my personal pocket.
She's like, we're working here to do this, and I'm trying to, but there's other dance, but we do something special.
I would love to be able to franchise my company, to have it all over the nation.
Would you rather go one-to-one and just have a place right here? But if you were working virtually, who do you have to support your program in a bigger scale?
I think the things that I would be a little bit wary about taking us national, like right now as of today, is just being able to take care of customers as well as I want to.
The way I-68 Consulting Group was founded, I was coming off a Special Forces team down in 7th Special Forces Group. I got back from El Salvador. I started I-68 Consulting Group as a way to really keep up on my skills, because I knew eventually I was going to go back to a Special Forces team. And so what I found is that when I started training people really resonated to our teaching styles. And so for the last 8 years, this has really been a side business. And now that we are moving towards retirement and pivoting towards retirement, we found that we could have a lot of impact in people's lives. So we're going full-time with I-68 Consulting Group. And the reason that we're keeping doing this is the feedback I'm getting from our clients. I mean, that's really how this has developed over the last 8 years. And really the whole point of the whole thing is being able to have impact in our community here in the Colorado Springs area.
One of the things, myself and all of my instructors, we try to be the most professional as we can be, but still authentic and real to people. Shooting is fun. You're hearing me say it a lot when you come to our classes. And our job is to make you feel comfortable and make you feel confident in your new ability.
They really come down to your level, whether you've been shooting for years or have never held a gun like myself, and they scaffold it to your individual ability.
I've had firearms my whole life, and I've trained nothing compared to what I experienced at I-68.
Welcome to the future I-68 training facility. Behind you, you have 160 acres that I-68 has purchased that we are going to develop into the premier training center in the state of Colorado and the surrounding areas. We're going to have 6 flat ranges, all AstroTurf, with one of those ranges being outdoor CQB or home defense range where you can live fire. We're going to have a 1,000-meter range for our long-distance shooters and our hunters. We're also building a city out of shipping containers that we can use paintball and simunitions for DOD, for law enforcement, and then for home defense as well. On the administrative side, we're going to have an administrative building with multiple classrooms. We're going to have 15 tiny homes put on here. We're going to have a gym. We're going to have 2 planning bays. Our property, the I-68 training facility, is 50 minutes or less from anywhere in Colorado Springs. So it's definitely able to get out here and do some great training.
Earning your Green Beret is just the start of a journey. And, serving with America's best has been the greatest honor of mine. These guys are unbelievable, highly motivated, highly intelligent individuals. And, that's been an honor in my life and always will be.
I start talking or I start remembering and I start getting frustrated. Sometimes I start swearing.
I really enjoy seeing what Victory Shepherd's Dog is doing for our veteran first responder and children's community. So that's the big accomplishment that I really am proud of. So pivoting to this full time is, building those power partners, doing all the networking. I don't have a team to help me, so I'm the social media guy. I'm the accountant, plus the lead trainer. My instructors, they're great on the range, but on the business side of things, I'm doing it all. The mentors on Total Disruption have been absolutely amazing. I know that the product we put out is some of the best in our area. These mentors have really helped me, and they're subject matter experts in their field, so I am following what they say. It already, it's paying dividends, and it can only help the business.
You ought to put together your maximum amount of product knowledge that you have so you can think in 3 dimensions, right? Sometimes you actually need to suggest how people can work with you and you can work with them.
We're doing our youth firearm safety and shooting course, and that is a parent and child course.
That's a parent and child course.
I have all the spreadsheets of how much a course costs, all that, profit, all that, but I didn't have a system to okay, how is my business doing this month?
CFO, grew up through the accounting ranks, did public accounting industry, a lot of nonprofit work. I worked at the Olympic Committee for a lot of years, and through that I enjoyed really helping businesses turn their businesses around. So I kind of got burned out on corporate world. You put a lot of hours in and you don't always feel like you're making as big an impact as maybe you could for other people. I kind of came across a stem cell technology, which is a little sticker you put on your skin, and it reflects your body's light back into your body, and it generates stem cells. So I tried it, and what it did for me was it gave me nerves back in my face. After a car wreck 10 years ago, I lost all the nerves on the right side of my face. I was in the hospital for 2 months. This hip was completely shattered. I had internal bleeding, brain injuries, a lot of plastic surgery, post nerve damage. So it makes you pause and say, okay, why did God save me? Because in all actuality, I shouldn't be here. They told my husband that he wasn't going to see me again alive. My parents too. What I've enjoyed about the entrepreneur world is meeting new people and just breaking outside my comfort zone and pushing me to get better. I really enjoy the financial and time freedom because, with having young kids, being able to go take them to a rodeo this whole weekend, be gone, and not have to answer to anybody has sure been a blessing also. And just the flexibility to do what we want when we want. I am most proud about achieving in my business is probably the connections, the people that I've met, but then also how we've changed their lives. For instance, I have a friend with lupus, and she was getting chemotherapy twice a month. Her muscles would lock up on her, and she'd get stuck in the bathtub. She wasn't able to ride her horses. She wasn't able to hardly get out of bed in the morning. And she's like, it completely transformed my life. I'm off the chemo. I haven't had my muscles lock up. I'm back to riding. I can live again. I work out every morning. I try to do a meditation, prayer, and then a workout. But then it's, getting the kids up when we go out and feed, clean pens, but then, fitting in to my horses and training colts and having to be able to go rodeo and show them and compete has been fun. And we try to fit in that as much as possible. My husband has been my biggest supporter of all my crazy adventures and what we want to do next. We have 2 amazing kids. They both have a huge passion for horses, and we kind of gave them the opportunity to explore everything. My husband won the senior pro finals last year, and then as the header, and then last year my youngest won his team roping championship at the National Wheel Bridges. If we're at a rodeo and their horse is hurt, how these patches will help their horse because of what it did for ours. People like to talk about themselves, but it's really truly understanding where they're coming from and volunteering them and seeing how we can add value back and serve others. I think with growing up with the horses, you always have that work ethic, and you always want it, you know what it's like to want something and be able to achieve it. My goal is to make well over $1 million in a year. So, and helping others to do that as well, and seeing where this company is going. I mean, we have a water machine coming out in July that actually changes the molecular structure of your body through light in the water. So changing that molecular structure of the water that you drink. So being part of this company is pretty exciting to be able to achieve those goals.
Emily comes out of a financial CPA world, very corporate, very conventional structure, not an entrepreneurial space, not a sales space.
I want to be able to provide them every opportunity to push forward and become the best they can.
But if we can get her, really packed in with some clients, she can be a real little 2 or 3 man business one day.
It's, what I need to do is the follow-up, because you have all these people coming in, but then they get busy, you forget. You just don't have that time to follow up to get that order in.
I grew up in the Chicagoland area and went to high school there, was the front man of some bands. Have been a freestyle rapper since the mid-90s, but also a lead guitarist, singer. So I had some punk bands where I'd also do some rap music. So, growing up in the 90s, I did have a computer. We had an Apple IIc, and I did learn how to code, back then. And I learned HTML and some of the earlier programming languages. I also learned how to build websites and communities. So I used old school, forum builders like GeoCities and Angel Fire, and I was very active in the music community and some other online communities. I ended up working on several software projects through the renowned map maker, Rand McNally. So they had some Atlas software and some GPS software. Ended up working at a pharmaceutical research company as a metrologist. Metrology is the science of weights and measures. And then, for whatever reason, lost my mind, and I decided that I was going to become a famous rapper. Had some radio shows and a couple songs that, people in certain markets liked and listened to. So I hit the road, kind of went on a tour that I kind of, booked on the fly, and this didn't work out. So around the turn of the millennium, I found myself really, in the middle of nowhere, a stranger in a strange land. So I started working in restaurants, and that was kind of my identity until I was getting close to 40, and I realized I didn't want to be a servant in the castle anymore. So that kind of planted the seed, and as they say, I got bit by the bug, the entrepreneurial bug. So about a decade ago now, I started my first software company, and we were a business-to-business software as a service company, solving a problem for the hospitality and restaurant industry, and have gone on to just kind of become a serial tech founder. And I've worked with the Founder Institute for about 7 years as a managing director, the entrepreneur in residence. I've won their Mentor and Excellence Award many times. So I've helped work with and launch hundreds of startups, launched over a dozen more of my own. This Loving Is project is really dear to me because when our co-founder, Jen Loving, came to me, she just got off a plane from Bali and had received a download that she had to do something at the intersection of love and AI. And I'm a technologist, a futurist. I've been in blockchain for about a decade, machine learning for about the same. And so, having started companies and come up with really unique business models, as soon as she said that, I kind of figured out where that could live, how it could serve humanity. And so I think it's been over 6 months, and we've got a great small team, although most of us are, kind of part-time. We're working on raising some real investment capital so that we can all put a requiem time into this and all get on the same page and continue to build out some really cool technology that'll help make the world a loving place.
Go with the flow, kid.
He says, yeah, I'm working on trying to raise $20 million. We're going to put out a cat, and I've done this before. And we could flip a switch and raise $50 million. We already read that. That's hard for people to wrap their head around.
When he comes to the calls, Corey shows up. Like, he shows up prepared. He knows his numbers. He knows where he's got to go, what he's got to do.
Well, when I started out in flipping almost 20 years ago, I realized pretty early on that it's important for people to get help with doing this kind of thing. It's funny, if you're going to get a pilot's license, you would immediately go hire a flight instructor. You wouldn't just go rent a plane and figure it out. My wife and I flip over 400 houses right here in the Colorado Springs market, which vaulted me into creating a consulting program. The first step is obviously finding deals. So I spend most days in the acquisition phase looking for deals for my clients with my acquisition managers in different markets. We do a proper analysis on every single deal before we present them to the client. So I spend a lot of time on that task. Funding is working with lenders, hard money and private money lenders. The fixing stage requires managing construction relationships and project management and buying the right materials for the properties. And then finally, the flip stage, proper marketing of the properties, making sure that we're exposing to the market correctly and getting the right buyers for the homes so we can get them sold quickly and for top dollar with a minimum profit target of $25,000. Now we're on the market. The property sold in a couple of days on market at above asking price, making my clients a good return on this investment deal. Presentation on the outgo is so important. What's the first impression of the property when they step in? Because that's going to define how the retail consumer views the rest of the home. Most of the time, we're working on the cabinets, either updating or replacing them. We can update them by painting, that saves some time. We put in a nice stainless steel appliance package into each property, which we've negotiated an extremely great rate with our vendor for that. Kitchens and bathrooms sell houses, right? So check this place out. We put in new fixtures throughout, a brand new vanity over here, and a gorgeous tile job right here behind me. This has a great patio here, which we repainted to make it a little more soluble. All in all, this home presents extremely well and is ideal for a retail buyer. I stayed motivated and productive by starting with the end in mind. I've got very lofty goals for this system, and to achieve those goals, I have to attain profitability for my clients. Total Disruption is really helping professional business coaches like myself to provide a brand and get awareness out there about what I do and how I do it. So by the time my ideal client gets to me and we're having that initial interaction, there's already a baseline of providing that knowledge. I think I was really missing that in my business when I first got started, and Total Disruption is really helping me to dial in some of those processes and procedures that makes the client attraction and vetting process that much simpler and more efficient.
I do want to give a shout out to Donnie. He is somebody who, as far as like opportunity, it's almost like I want to give him a shout out and also a pat on the back.
And now I'm doing, many unpaid speaking events, but you got to start somewhere.
It's a pivotal time in his business and in his life. So it's a land of opportunity for Donnie.
How do we get Donnie out of pain? I think instead of wearing this shirt, I'm going to wear a Get Donnie Out of Pain shirt the next coaching call. I'm going to have it made, and I'm going to wait for Donnie to ask me what the shirt's all about.
I know he's been doing a lot of ads, and so we've talked about alternative ways for him to generate leads.
Next time on Total Disruption Boardroom Battleground, the stakes get even higher as our contestants tackle the subtle art of client relations.
We empower people.
You could really gamify the experience and reach millions of people.
Relationships will be tested, strategies will be redefined, and confidence will be challenged.
So having a music studio in this area would do great things for the community.
And I realized that I just wasn't asking for that commitment.
Who will step up and who will stumble? Find out next week. Today's contestants had amazing stories.
Absolutely. It was really great to see somebody like Samantha turn a lifelong passion for music into a successful and self-funded business. So she might need to make some adjustments and use the feedback from the professionals that have been there before to hit those bigger goals.
Mark Fitzwater, our former Special Forces soldier, is now fully committed to his ambitious I-68 training facility, serving veterans and first responders. Lofty goals, but I know he's got the grit.
Yeah, I agree. So learning that Emily went from a corporate CFO to wellness entrepreneur, and that transformed her personal recovery into a life-changing business that integrates that innovative stem cell technology.
Corey Warfield, who pivoted from music and hospitality to become a serial tech entrepreneur. now focuses on fascinating intersections between AI and human connection. Talk about a nonlinear journey.
It was cool to watch Donnie, and he's a great reminder to us that there's still plenty of real estate opportunity. Even in challenging markets, there's always money to be made, and there's always businesses to be built.
Today's stories showcase passion, perseverance, and adaptability, the real keys to entrepreneurial success.
Now let's see how it's going to play out next week on Total Disruption for Group Battleground.